Oh, that's awesome. It smooths it really does smooth out things. Well, that might be part of the problem. That's funny though. You know, when you use a hammer the wrong way, it kind of hurts a little bit. For some reason, Riz, I'm not hearing you. Oh, okay, okay. I can hear you now. I thought you were. I must have been picking up your some audio in the background because you kept lightening up, like the mic kept lighting up. So I thought you were talking. I was like, "Is there something wrong with my system again?" Oh, we are getting into that time period. I got some kids myself in the background today. Oh yeah, just pointing out some charts, huh, sweetheart? Yeah, she's gonna be a heck of a trader. Um, so you were doing your morning business. I can see Aaron when you were getting that. Yeah, thank you for that one. Um, very cute video, I'm sure though. Like that would have make me break down too. Oh, I hate it when Facebook does that to me randomly. And I see, and I don't use Facebook very often, but when I log in, a lot of times I'll see like an old picture of like one of my kids, 3 years old, and she's 16 now. And it's like, oh my goodness, I wish. By the way, Riz, I told you that support level is strong. We're getting a good bounce off it. Oh, I don't think if there's one thing I know, bulls can't carry into the close. And when they do, that will be the behavioral change. Like that will be a catalyst change for me. If the Bulls can carry into the close, I'll really like that going into tomorrow. But I don't have confidence in it, Riz. Yeah, Thursday. I'm a pretty big fan of Thursdays. I like Thursdays. We're gonna finish up our moving average conversation from last week. Talk about some pinches and some pulls and some pockets. By the way, my favorite P of the three P's, Aaron, is the pocket. I love a good moving average pocket. Like, love it. Especially on the longer term. Like, I don't use moving average pockets on the intraday. Um, I don't think they're nearly as important. But on the longer term, I love pockets. Oh, not only are they good entries, they're easy trades to process too, because they're all visually done through moving averages. Yeah, so I would definitely say they're good entries. But I like the cleanliness. Like I'm a technical junkie for clean charts. The cleaner the chart, the more I love a clean chart. And moving average pockets, when done right, are very clean analysis. Well, it's like on a pocket, you're basically saying, and I'll talk about this during the lab, but in a pocket, you're basically saying as long as I'm in the pocket, I'm fine. Underneath the pocket, I want back out. So like entering stop loss, I wouldn't call it a go or don't setup, but it's close to that. Yeah. Real good on long-term reversals, by the way, moving average pockets, like really good. If you're looking at like from an investor perspective, and you're looking at like catching the bottom of a move. Um, my thoughts on Tesla are pretty simple today. Hated yesterday, like today, and that creates a high base. And so we're looking at a little bit of a high base pattern right now. Because the breakout was strong, you're a little bit of a distance on the 90 EMA. So the reason I like today quite a bit is because it adds to the time consolidation, jaw. And so I kind of like that, where you get a little bit of time consolidation here on Tesla before you make that next larger move. And so we're dealing with the breakout on top of the weekly chart. It's going to stick the landing unless chaos erupts tomorrow. That is such a good look on the weekly chart, like such a good technical look on the weekly chart. So you're most likely going to stick the landing here. I was a little bit concerned about it yesterday. My thing is more about this weekly chart closing above the breakout channel. Like as long as that happens, I got confidence, and it does look like that's going to happen. So yesterday I hated, honestly. I thought, first of all, I hated every aspect of yesterday. I was not positioned for that type of move going into yesterday. So I'm really enjoying the slight recovery here today. And that's why I say, like, tomorrow you got the Japanese yen on the overnight here tonight. And that's a macro nerd geek type concern. We get through that without a lot of volatility. We get through that without a lot of volatility. We get through the open without a lot of volatility due to OPEX tomorrow. And it is quad, so it's everything. Like, I don't know what the number is expiring tomorrow, but I'm assuming it's big. Like, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I assume that number is big with the options expiring tomorrow. So we get through that a little bit. Tesla closes above on that weekly channel. I'm going to like it. And so today I felt like was a really good alleviation day, like a really good alleviation day. And specifically, I know the Nasdaq's, up relative strength here today. I also think that's a good sign. When the Nasdaq leads, usually everything else gets a little bit easier. But you had a catalyst out on the Nasdaq here today. Micron. Did you guys see Micron? Did anybody see Micron's earnings? If you haven't seen Micron's earnings, go look in Micron's earnings. 20% beat on EPS, 56% growth year over year, increased EPS guidance by 96%, increased revenue guidance by 50%. That report out of Micron was as good of a earnings report as you can get in this quarter. There's not a better earnings report in the third quarter or reporting for the third quarter than Micron had. And we had a good earnings season too. It wasn't like we had a bad earnings season. And so I thought Micron was a really good catalyst yesterday. We got the CPI report here today. CPI came in at 2.7%. Expectation was 3.1. That headline number really gave a little bit of a boost to the market today. But if you look behind the headline number on the CPI report, there's some flaws in the data, and that's all I'm going to say about it. There's some flaws in the calculation of the data right now, meaning we're not calculating every aspect of the inflationary environment. In fact, the CPI report tracks a ton of different products out of our economic system, and we only tracked 3 of them on October and November. And so we don't know the totality of the inflationary environment right now. The headline number, everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, inflation's great. We should get 4 more rate cuts. Oh, awesome." Yeah, okay. Slow your roll here. Let's let inflation catch up a little bit here. But it was a good headline number as well. Those were the 2 major data points here today. Other stock news: Elliott Management, the activist investor Elliott, he took $1 billion position in Lulu. Lulu, we talked a little bit about last week, coming off the lows, and Lulu looks like it's on a little bit of a journey here. Would love to see a little bit of development right around that 200-day moving average as well. But yeah, I like the development on Tesla. I like the recovery here today. I like the consolidation, and I would like to see a high inside candle tomorrow. After everything this week, if we finish this week high inside tomorrow, that would be a good look for the bulls going into next week. Finish towards low inside tomorrow, that's a good look for the bears going into next week. I think tomorrow's candle is going to be very, very telling about whether we get Santa Claus coming to town, guys. Santa Claus comes next week. Santa Claus rally historically starts on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. We're just doing the teeter-totter today. Quick to support, quick to resistance. By the way, they also changed some of the calculation in the CPI report. They didn't really tell anybody they were changing some of the calculation in the CPI report. And one of those changes in the calculation of the CPI report was how they see housing being calculated, specifically on rent. So basically what they did is they sent the OER, the owner's equivalent rent, they set it to 0. Well, if you don't like inflation, just change the calculation. We see changes in how inflation is calculated over time. Usually it's done, there's an announcement that they have a conversation on it. There's a debate about it. It goes to the BLS. It goes to other agencies. They have a discussion on it. They have a debate on it. Economists come in. The CBOE comes in. Like that's what typically happens. This one, nobody knew the change in calculation, and so they just did it. Yeah, it's not a small thing. I'd say that alone is a 0.1 to 0.2% on the year over year, maybe even more. So basically, Aaron, what they did is because they had a difficult time in October and November. I'm reading this right now. They had a difficult time in October and November getting the data, so they just assumed the data was zero, and it wasn't just on the rent either. Like think about that. They don't have the data, and so instead of trying to figure out what the data is, they just assume the data is positive, meaning zero inflation. I'm not sure that's a methodology that sparks a lot of confidence in the data. Guys, we don't know what the data is, so we're just going to make the assumption it's zero. ES is battling 68.40 right now. Has a little 10-point scalp range if you're interested there. I don't think you could look above 68.50 right now, but does have a little range there. Yeah, no flush today, Nacho, but there is a battle happening on the intraday pretty aggressively, honestly. This is the biggest battle I've seen on the intraday for a while. Volume's been heavy all day long, especially after the from the CPI report until literally right now. There's been big time battles on the intraday side of the equation. I'll take a look at the 30-minute chart on 30. A little bit. Yeah, I could see what you're talking. Especially if the 25,200 ends up being like a support level there. But yeah, I can definitely see. I mean, it's fighting for an increase in support. It's got the U shape on the hand on the cup. There's definitely a cup there. You know what they say about a cup and handle there? Hey, Aaron, you break out of a cup and handle, it's usually a little bit of a trend starter there. That level would be 25,400. And that level, that 25,400 level, it's pretty important technically too. It was the pivot last Friday. It was resistance on Tuesday. That's what we broke on Wednesday before we got the massive volatility yesterday. And today, that's exactly where the top end of the chart is kind of hitting into, is right around that 25,400 level. So ultimately, bulls don't want to be too aggressive underneath that. And then it starts opening it up, 100-point range to 500. Then it opens up to about 660. And then it opens up to like 900. So that's a very, very good level. I'd say the two most important levels. If the Nasdaq's going to get into a short-term intraday bullish trend, which it's obviously it's been struggling with recently. Yeah, start at 25,400, worked at 500, and then 500 you start opening up. I don't know if I'd call it a cup and handle yet, but it's very similar. No, the market doesn't deserve coal this year. Nasdaq's going to finish up about 19% this year. We got to have some standards. Although I would say so far November and December get coal. Mm-hmm. Would I stay away from a long on what time frame, Aaron? Based on just that. Because honestly, that wouldn't play a role in anything I do. It doesn't. Market had a good day. That's honestly when I see headlines like that, I'm just like, yeah, market had a good day. But context matters. And yesterday we were down 1.5%. So all we're really seeing is an alleviation recovery day. Don't get me wrong, I like it, speaking as the bull, but just simply because the NASDAQ is up doesn't really tell me anything. Well, I mean, are you breaking out? Like, are you breaking out of a level? Some of the best trading days of all time are when the NASDAQ's up 2.5%, 3%. Obviously, that's not here. And my point is, it doesn't provide much of anything unless you're talking about it in conjunction with what's happening from a trending perspective elsewhere. There are no stupid questions, my friend. They don't exist. Uh, Listen, you can hold my feet to the fire on that. I have taught around the world. I've taught in every continent not named Antarctica. I've taught hundreds of thousands of people over time, Aaron, and I've been asked every single question you could possibly imagine. There are no stupid questions. I'll tell you what my law school professor told me one time. Um, it was my second day in law school. I was in a class called torts, and the professor was a guy by the name of Tommy Lund, and Professor Lund was 5'2", 110 pounds, soaking wet. Not exactly put the fear of anything in anybody. Until about 5 minutes into the class, a young lady raises her hand and she says, Professor Lund, I have a question, but it might be stupid. Now, I was always a back row student. I was never raising my hand. She was one of those individuals that would raise her hand at the very end of class as well. And she raises her hand and she says, I have a question, but it might be stupid. And Professor Lund says, young lady, please stop right now. There are no stupid questions. There's just really stupid people. That's what Professor Lund said. I don't believe that either. I think there's no stupid questions ever. but that will always stand out to me. By the way, that lady never asked another question. In towards that the rest of the year. Um, I think questions are vitally important. I think questions allow us to get into some conversations, and they open the door to critical thinking. I think questions are vitally important to the concept of understanding. And if you're an educator who truly does want to teach other people, you better be willing to embrace every question known to man. And if you're not willing to embrace any question, you're not a true educator. Oh, everybody just wants to be a unique, precious snowflake there, Aaron. Elmaro, exactly. I don't care where you're at. We're all here wanting to learn and get better and improve. I've been doing this for 20 years, guys. I still try every single day to improve, to get better. I absolutely love these conversations we have over time because I've learned. I've learned from you guys. Truly. That's just not me just blowing smoke, guys. I have absolutely learned from you guys. And I hope that works for both of us. I'll be right back, everybody. One year in March, that will be fantastic. I've long held the belief, Nacho, if you are even break even in your first year of trading, you are doing good. And that's why most traders never make it long term, is they feel they have to get everything. They don't have it in their first few times. Oh, it's a scam. It doesn't work. I am not thinking short personally, but I also don't love today's environment. I think we get to 50. If we get to 50 and we break 50, we get to 60. Those are all 10-point ranges. I don't love trading 10-point ranges. Like I'm not a scalper like that. So I could see scalpers really like this environment today. I personally don't like this environment on the intraday side today. So I love catching trends, and this isn't a trend yet. Now, if it was a 20-point range, like a 20-point range, I'd be a little bit more interested there. But like whenever I try to catch a 10-point range on the ES, even when it works out, like I capture 2.5, 3 points. Like it's just like, oh, not good enough. No, I'm not like scalpers love it. And I'm not trying to say anything negative on scalpers. Scalpers kick ass. I'm just saying I'm not that. And so I don't love these short window type trades. I love open air. And I just don't see any open air today. Yeah, yesterday was a trending day. Trending days are awesome. Trending days are awesome. Up or down. Trending days are great. Up, down, teeter totter days, they're not my jam. Although option sellers love them. And Riz's zero DTE paid out really good today. You know how I stay away from the over aggressively day trading? I go look at silver and gold more. I have other time frames going on. I'll switch to the cash flow side of it. Like I won't ever force day trading ever. Like even times I've been hanging out with you guys and I force the day trading just because I want to do it because you guys see a trade. I'm like, yeah, that's good enough for me. I don't love it. I do it because it's fun and there's trade there, but I don't love the chop. I love trends. Period. End of sentence. I will say, Nacho, learning how to cash flow allows you to stay away. Because the reason you don't want to stay away is what reason? What is the reason you don't want to take a break? What is the reason you don't want to get up and take a walk? What is the reason you don't want to, go do something else? What brings you back to the I got to get action? That's what brings you back. That's what forces you to do things when you're not when you want to stay away, but you're not staying away. It's because you want the action. It's a lot of time. You want the action. And exactly. It's a drug. You want the action. Well, you have things working on other time frames. You always have some action, even if it's not that, giddy up and go pump that you get on the day trading side of the equation. I've long held the belief you understand a little bit of cash flow, you do a little cash flow in the market, navigating direction is much, much, much easier. Nacho, do you believe that in the statement there's a time to trade and there's a time to fish? Yeah. There's nothing wrong if you don't have a good read in the market, you don't like the action, you don't like the intraday, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong walking away and doing something else and coming back tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. Ja, ja. Should we go short? Should we go short? She gave me the smile, Ja Ja. She gave me that grin, cheek to cheek, cheek to cheek. It was the biggest smile she gave me today. I'm not kidding. Let's try this. Hey, sweetheart, should we go long? Should we go long? No? No smile. No smile on the long, guys. There was no smile. There was a grin, Ja Ja. I'm not gonna she looked at me, she's like, what are you talking about, long? You don't say those first words that Jaja says, though. You don't say those things. Of course not, tomorrow. Mm. We're gonna have to name this one the baby Nora, the baby indicator. I'm gonna have to ask her for confirmation next time I decide to go short or long. It's got. If you were a fib pattern, would you be a 38% retracement? Oh, so we were both right on the 38%. Um, no, I don't think that's a bad thing to do. Pull up the fib, see what, how far is the depth of that pullback here. I don't think that's a negative thing at all. The ES is currently at a 50% pullback. NASDAQ was, I believe, on the higher end, but no. Shows you how much strength or weakness is in that initial move. Guys, we got the lab coming up in about 10 minutes. We're talking pockets, pinches, and pulls. Finishing our moving average conversation. We'll also take a look at the lay of the land in the lab here today, taking a look at all the indexes on the daily, weekly time frame, just kind of get a viewpoint of where are we at from the macro side of the equation as well. If you have any questions on anything under the sun, bring them to the lab. I'll do my best to answer. The baby short was a winner. It was the best indicator today, bar none. I said short. She smiled, grin to grin, just ear to ear. Baby short for the win. We're going to call this the Nora indicator. No, we'll just call it the baby indicator. You need to be ready at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, sweetheart. Yeah. You start getting up 5:30. Yeah, we're working on that. She's on liberal time here, Jaja. For those that don't speak left coast, that's left coast. Hmm. Steve's working some magic over there.
The guy is the one that does the alerts. The girl is for like the service. Like if you don't have authentication, it'll tell you. That's the YubiKey thing.
Hey, Riz, it's a great catch there, Aaron. I'm heading over to my lab to get ready, brother. Thank you.